a minute until the announced starting time. So let's get the application all loaded up here. And turn my phone off because that's loud. There we go. Vibrate. Let's go in here. Actually, before we do that, got some news. So, Ed Lewis, between the last card that I streamed, has announced a major bluegrass wrestling show for this coming December, which is next month in my National Wrestling Commission universe. So Ed Lewis has announced that bluegrass wrestling will hold the biggest wrestling event the world has ever seen, according to Lewis, just before the Christmas holiday. Lewis was uncharacteristically hush when it came to the specific matchups, but he did confirm that his friend and NWC World's Heavyweight Champion, Thesz, would be on the card, and if he's successful in defeating Lewis's rival, Martin Farmer Burns, on December 1st in New York City, he would be defending his title against an opponent that Lewis had handpicked to produce what Lewis called the best possible matchup for the fans. The other thing that was talked about was that this show would feature wrestlers from all over the world, which the National Wrestling Commission currently does a pretty good job of, and showcase a variety of different wrestling styles. Lewis also announced that he'd be wrestling, but wouldn't give the name of his opponent, saying only that it would be a great match. So, on the next Bluegrass Wrestling show, Lewis is claiming that it will be the biggest wrestling event that the world has ever seen. But the details are sparse. So we're headed into December in the National Wrestling Commission. The card that we are going to run is the December card for the main Fed for National Wrestling Commission. It takes place on December 1st. And features 5 matches. Starting us off, we've got Lord James Blears. Let's go ahead and get the news down. We've got Lord James Blears versus Rod Fenton. Frank Gotch will take on Gorgeous George with Cherie Dupree. A new tag team that has formed, the Legionnaires, Andre Cristal and Theobald Bauer. They're going to face off against the Dusek Riot Squad with their brother Rudy Dusek in their corner. In the ladies' action, we've got Mae Young taking on Nell Stewart. And then in the main event, we've got Thesz defending his NWC World's Heavyweight Championship against Martin Burns. That's Farmer Burns, a former NWC World's Heavyweight Champion. He will be getting his rematch against Thesz here. And that is our card for this evening. Tonight, we are emanating from the Madison Square Garden in New York, New York, with 15,015 people in attendance. So, a fairly good turnout. Not a sellout card, but pretty 15,000 people. You can't really scoff at that. And with that, we're going to get to our first match, which will see the debut of Lord James Blears as he takes on the always dangerous Lightning Rod Fenton. In the blue corner, weighing in at 233 pounds and standing 6 feet tall, from Lancashire, England, he is Lord James Blears. And in the red corner, weighing in at 200 pounds and standing 5 feet, 7 inches tall, from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Lightning Rod Fenton. And neither one of these guys have any, okay, yeah, he does have, well, Leslie Holmes is in the corner of Blears, but he's attached to the card. He's not like a separate card, so he was not noted up there. So Blears will have the assistance of his friend and manager, Captain Leslie Holmes. Let's roll for initiative and get things started. They lock up in the center of the ring, and a Lightning Rod Fenton gets the best of the lockup. Starts us off with an armbar and reaches back for a handful of hair and pulls Blears to the mat. Blears is hurt as Fenton continues his attack here. Fenton dragging him over and choking him on the ropes. And he is going to, ooh, that's not really a good choice on either. Well, he's going to send him back into the turnbuckle there. And Lord James Blears able to spin it around and deliver a chop to the chest of Lightning Rod Fenton. Blears on the attack. And he applies that Ferris wheel. And this is an add 1 attack, so we're going to add 1 and roll on level 3. And that's a pin. So just like that with the Ferris wheel, Lord James Blears is off to the races. And with a roll of 8, Fenton is able to kick out, but Blears solidly in control here. Blears going to the top rope and coming off with a big crossbody block. And Fenton is once again shoulders to the mat with Blears on top of him, rolling his pin. Target is 6, roll is a 6, and just like that, Lord James Blears has picked up his first win in the National Wrestling Commission with a flying crossbody. Blears, definitely a guy to keep an eye on in the National Wrestling Commission. This was a flying cross body press. 250. The rating, he would have got another one, so about 1.5 stars. That sounds about right. And we got Blears with 0 and Fenton with 3. And there we go. That was our first match. And it was a quick one. As Blears quickly puts away Lightning Rod Fenton with a flying crossbody from the top rope. And now we've got Frank Gotch versus Gorgeous George with Cherie Dupree. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 208 pounds and standing 5 feet, 11 inches tall, from Humboldt, Iowa, he is Frank Gotch. And in the red corner, weighing in at 220 pounds and standing 5 feet, 9 inches tall, with Cherie Dupree, hailing from Hollywood, California, this is Gorgeous George. And Gorgeous George and Frank Gotch lock up in the center of the ring again. And it looks like Gotch gets the better of the lockup. And he starts off with a big flying mare, and that is going to work as Gotch does have the agility advantage here. And Gorgeous George is hurt as Gotch continues his attack now, picking up George from the mat and headbutting him. And Gorgeous George able to get his hand up and block that headbutt. And Gorgeous George slaps Frank Gotch and prances around the ring. Gotch is a little upset. Gotch goes in, locks up again with Gorgeous George, takes control, and drives another headbutt into him. And Gorgeous George once again gets the hand up, locks the headbutt, slaps him in the face, and prances around once more. Gotch just can't seem to get things going, and Gotch once again moves back in, this time delivering a solid club to the back as George prances around the ring, taking control of the match, and once again attempting to headbutt him. And this headbutt actually connects, solidly landing on Gorgeous George, hurting him. And Derek Bauman is here. He says he's been here since the beginning of the show, listening while I dry the dishes. I hate doing dishes. Gotch is one of my favorite wrestlers. Gotch is good stuff. I don't use him as often as I should. He's one of those guys that I overlook when I'm booking matches a lot. He's been active since year 1, but he just doesn't get as much play as he should. Anyway, Gotch with that big headbutt, and that hurts Gorgeous George. Gotch continues his attack, grabbing a crossface and an armbar on the downed Gorgeous George. George is in trouble here. George is down. He's going to grab the ropes and roll out of the ring. And George leaves the ring. Gotch follows him out. Both wrestlers out of the ring. And they're brawling with each other. Gotch rolling for count out. He's not counted out. And now Gorgeous George rolling for count out. He's not counted out. So these two brawl outside the ring, but both of them roll back in as the referee approaches the 10 count. And now it is going to be Gorgeous George gets up from rolling in first and lays a boot to Frank Gotch and takes control of the fight. And as Gotch gets up, George with some rolling hip locks, and Gotch's shoulders are on the mat. Gotch could be pinned here. Target is 2, roll is an 11, so Gotch eats a point of fatigue and is not pinned, but Gorgeous George in control here. And George locks on that figure 4 leg lock. And Frank Gotch is down. Not able to reach the ropes here yet. And Gotch in trouble as George steps out of the figure, or moves out of the figure 4, keeping the leg, and applies a spinning toe hold. This is a +1 finisher, so the target is going to be 4, and the roll is a 6. So Gotch, another point of fatigue, and Gorgeous George will continue his attack. And Gorgeous George climbing to that top rope. No, he's not going to do that. I didn't realize that Gotch had an A for a death jump rating. That's a pretty high death jump rating, isn't it? Yeah. I guess Gotch is just a no BS kind of wrestler. There's no going to the top rope against Frank Gotch. So he's going to roll up. And face rake with his Georgie pin. So pulling the pin from his hair, he rakes the face of Frank Gotch. Gotch is hurt as Gorgeous George continues his attack, locking on a gorgeous grip. And Gotch is hurt here. And again, he's got that pin in his hand, and he rakes the face of Frank Gotch once again. And Gotch this time smacks the pin out of his hand. No BS from Frank Gotch. And now Gotch backs Gorgeous George into the ropes, and the referee steps in after clearing the Georgie pin from the ring and orders a break. The two men break and meet in the center of the ring, locking up, and Frank Gotch takes control. And Gotch with a big series of punches on Gorgeous George. This is a choice C maneuver. So let's see here. He's going to use the power because George has got a +1 on power. So that's going to be 7 or better for a level 2 series of punches. And with a roll of 11, George blocks those punches and comes back with another face rake with another Georgie pin. He's got several in his hair there. And Gotch is in trouble here. Gotch is hurt. I'm going to roll for blood. This is like the 3rd or 4th time he's had that Georgie pin shoved in his face. So even he's bleeding, odds he's not. Even he's bleeding. So Frank Gotch was raked open with that Georgie pin. And Gotch is got blood. And now Gorgeous George on the attack again. Big snap mare from Gorgeous George. And Frank Gotch rolls through, hops back to his feet super quick, comes in, grabs Gorgeous George in a collar and elbow, and forces him back into the turnbuckle. and delivers several big knee shots to the midsection as Gorgeous George is in the buckle. And now, Frank Gotch grabs a reverse Nelson as George tries to struggle out of the corner. And this is an add 1 maneuver, so we're going to add 1 and roll on level 3. And George able to get to the ropes and roll out of the ring. And Frank Gotch going to let him just kind of hang out there. As the referee counts, George rolls back in, and Frank Gotch is quick to attack. And Gotch with another series of punches. I think that's 7 or less for a level 2 series of punches. And with a roll of 9, once again, Gorgeous George able to block those punches and continue his attack, backing Frank Gotch into the ropes. And raking his face again, this time just with his hands, but Gotch really has to watch out for the dirty tactics here as Gorgeous George rolls him up with a small package off the ropes, and he grabs the tights. And Frank Gotch able to keep his shoulders off the mat, and George lets him go, but he is still down. Frank Gotch in trouble here as Gorgeous George grabs the leg and reapplies a spinning toe hold. Target is going to be 5 as this is a +1 finisher, and the roll is a 5. So just like that, Gorgeous George has defeated Frank Gotch with a whole lot of underhanded tactics. Gorgeous George won that one, defeating Frank Gotch with, let's see here. It was a spinning toe hold. Toe hold is one word. And Gotch would have had 1 more fatigue, so that's 4, 6, so that's a 3-star match. And George had 2. Gotch had 4. There we go. Derek Bauman in the front row booing the victory of Gorgeous George. He is a fan of Frank Gotch and is not happy. Now, we have got Andre Crystal and Theobald Bauer, now known as the Legionnaires, and they are going to be facing the Dusek Riot Squad with Rudy Dusek. So tag team action here as these guys face off. In the blue corner, at a total combined weight of 371 pounds, Andre Crystal and Theobald Bauer, the Legionnaires. I haven't entered them into my tag team database yet, but I will. And in the red corner, accompanied by their brother Rudy Dusek, at a total combined weight of 468 pounds, from Omaha, Nebraska, Ernie and Emil Dusek, the Dusek Riot Squad. And the Dusek Riot Squad outweigh the Legionnaires by nearly 100 pounds. So the Duseks definitely have the advantage. Plus, with Rudy in their corner, this is going to be a hard thing to overcome for the Legionnaires. Let's roll to see who starts the match. Theobald Bauer is going to start, and Emil Dusek is going to start. So there we go. Let's get rid of those rolls and roll for the initiative. And it's Emil Dusek taking the initiative and applying a big side headlock. This is a power maneuver. They're even on power, so that is going to work. And Theobald Bauer brought down by a big side headlock from Emil Dusek, the bigger man, just imposing his will on Theobald Bauer. And now Emil Dusek getting dangerous, throwing him out of the ring. And it's when they choose to leave the ring or are thrown out of the ring. Okay. So he is going to throw Theobald Bauer out of the ring. And Bauer hits the concrete floor hard. And his partner, Andre Crystal, comes in to help get him back up, get him back in the ring, but the damage is done here. He adds 1 fatigue, and Emil Dusek going to continue his attack. And Dusek applies the Dusek double headlock. And this is a +1 maneuver, so target is going to be 6. We're going to roll the pin save here, because I don't know if they're going to kick out of that. And Andre Crystal, he's got the pin save roll, and there's a big brawl. So Crystal comes in, starts brawling with Emil Dusek. Ernie Dusek comes in, and Theobald Bauer gets up and starts brawling with Ernie Dusek. So all 4 men in the ring just pounding on one another. Rolling DQ. And there is no DQ on the Legionnaires side. And no DQ on the Dusek side. So now we're going to roll to see who takes control. Roll 1 die, even odd. So odds, it's the opponent. So that is going to be the Duseks continuing to have control in this match as they win the brawl, which is pretty standard stuff. The Duseks like to brawl. And Emil Dusek applies that Dusek double headlock once again. So as soon as the brawl clears, Emil Dusek grabs the head of Theobald Bauer and just lays in the headlock again. Dusek double headlock. They're going to use their last pin save here. And that's a fail. So Ernie Dusek comes over and just clotheslines the crap out of Andre Crystal as he comes in to try to break things up. And now he's rolling his pin. So target is 6. Oh, no, he didn't. Target is actually going to be 1 higher because I didn't add the fatigue for the pin save. So target is 7. And the roll is a 12, so not that it mattered, but Theobald Bauer able to break out there. Yeah, I do usually add, Solo Promoter asks, do you add fatigue when the pin save ends like that? I do usually. I forgot to this time because I was getting into the exposition of the pin save. But yeah, technically I should have, and I did. I went back and did it when the pin happened. So Bauer able to bust his head out there, but he is in trouble. Emil Dusek tags in Ernie, and Ernie Dusek continues to beat down on Theobald Bauer, and Ernie Dusek with a Dusek double headlock of his own, and he's the bigger of the 2 brothers, so this is even more power, and this is a +2 finisher. So the target is 9. He's got no pin saves left. The roll is a 4, and the Duseks able to just absolutely crush Theobald Bauer and keep Andre Crystal out of the ring and take this match. So we're going to end this one. We're got to add 1 more to Bauer, so that was 4. So 1-star match, technically. And this ended on a Dusek double headlock. And it was Ernie Dusek and Theobald Bauer. Match note. Bauer, 4 fatigue. Crystal had 0 fatigue. Ernie had 0 fatigue. And Emil had 0 fatigue. Yeah. I do that all the time since Solo Promoter. I always forget. Yeah, no, me too. I mean, especially when I'm streaming and I've got, like I'm trying to do a little bit of exposition about what's going on in the match instead of just like reading out the things. It can be, you can get into it, and if you expound on it for any length of time, it's really easy to forget to like click that button and add the fatigue or whatever. Mark Bain says, Warner's art is so fantastic. I agree. Warner's art makes the game for me. Like, I try not to play with cards that don't have Warner art. And, I always go back to him when I'm doing my bootlegs and stuff. I just think his art is so good for this game. It's just fantastic stuff, always. And we're on to ladies action here. We've got Mae Young and Nell Stewart. Now, the NBBW World's Women's title changed hands at our last card. June Byers actually defeated Mildred Burke, who had been the champion for almost 900 days. And she was able to take the title off of Mildred Burke, which kind of opened up because Burke had beaten everyone. She had beaten every woman on the roster. And so, it was hard to come up with contenders that she hadn't beaten once or twice already. But now that Byers is the champion, she hasn't faced anybody for the title. She hasn't defended against anybody. So now that contendership is way up in the air, and these women need to prove that they deserve that title shot. And so we are going to see Nell Stewart and Mae Young in the first sort of a contendership match here. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 180 pounds and standing 5 feet 4 inches tall, from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, she is Mae Young. And in the red corner, weighing in at 142 pounds and standing 5 feet 4 inches tall as well, from Birmingham, Alabama, she is Nell Stewart. And Stewart, I think, has a nickname. No, it's not on there. I was going to say, I thought she had a nickname, but it isn't there. So. And the two ladies lock up in the center of the ring. And neither lady can get the better of the lockup. And they drop the lockup, and there's an intense stare down as the two ladies lock up again. And this time it's Nell Stewart winning the lockup and nailing Mae Young with a big back body drop. And Mae Young's down. She's going to roll out of the ring. And Nell Stewart coming out to brawl with her. These ladies really going at one another. This is a DQ roll, and Mae Young is disqualified. And Nell Stewart is not, so we're going to say that Mae Young just went to town on Nell Stewart and was unfortunately disqualified for it as she stopped obeying referee instructions. That was a dud if there was ever one. So Nell Stewart won via DQ. Does this actually work? It does. Good. I added you can click this and it will add it in there, like it records like your last 100 finishes or whatever. So you can just go ahead and click it if you want to add the same thing. But this is a DQ when Young stopped obeying referee instructions during a ringside brawl. Okay, so neither lady ended up with any fatigue. So Young and Stewart both have 0 fatigue for the match. And it ended in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Really a disappointing match. And this is our main event. Thesz won the title by defeating Farmer Martin Burns at the very beginning of this year, or the very end of last year. I think it was at the very end of last year. I think it was year 5, card 12, and this is year 6, card 12. So it took a year for the rematch to happen, but Thesz is finally having his rematch with Farmer Martin Burns to see, or for the NWC World's Heavyweight title. So Burns and Thesz. And I've started using the official Burns card. My general policy is that if there's a bootleg and an official card, I will use the official card even if the bootleg is like better. Because in this case, like, the bootleg is quite a bit stronger than I honestly don't know how they statted this card. This is one of the ones that usually I'm fairly in agreement with the Legends team about where they put guys and their stats. There are a couple of cards that I think are stupid. That RVD card is just dumb. I refuse to use it. It's too powerful. RVD has no right to be anywhere near the level that he's at in the game. But Martin Burns has got the opposite problem. Like, he definitely should have had a stronger card, and he doesn't. And so I'm a little bummed about that. But you know, I'm gonna use the official cards whenever they exist. So I fully expect Thesz to clean that to clean Burns' clock, is what I'm trying to say, in a roundabout way. And here we go. We are at the ringside. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 238 pounds and standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, from St. Louis, Missouri, he is the reigning NWC World's Heavyweight Champion, Thesz. And his challenger in the red corner, weighing in at 165 pounds and standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, from Springfield Township, Iowa, this is Farmer Martin Burns. And Burns and Thesz lock up in the center of the ring. And it's Thesz who gets the better of the lockup. Thesz immediately applying a rolling short arm scissors on Farmer Burns here. And Burns is in big trouble. And Burns is hurt here as Thesz punches him in the ribs as the two stand back up. And Farmer Burns catches the punch. And half Nelson and slam on Thesz. Thesz is down, but he's close to the ropes. He's going to roll out of the ring for a breather. The champ knows when to take a breather. And Thesz just breathes one out and gets back in the ring. Burns is on the attack immediately, though, with another big half Nelson applied. He picks him up and slams him back down to the mat. Thesz is hurt. This is his mechanic here. Roll 2 dice on rolls of 10 through 12. Thesz blocks the opponent move and hits the Greco-Roman backdrop. So let's roll the 2 dice here. And on a roll of 6, it's just a normal. He does not counter the move. So the half Nelson slam hurts Thesz. And Farmer Burns on the attack again. Big flying mare on Thesz. Thesz once again hurt. And once again able to do that Greco-Roman backdrop roll. And he doesn't get it again, so Thesz he is hurt here. And another big half Nelson and slam. And that's going to do it. He's down. His shoulders are down. Martin Burns makes the cover just as I said that he was going to wipe the floor with Burns. Burns putting on a great showing. Target is 2, roll is a 7. So Thesz able to kick out pretty easily. But Burns is on the attack. Burns applying a big full Nelson, trying to force him to the mat there with that full Nelson. Gonna try the power move. It's gonna work on a 7 or better. And with a roll of 9, Thesz is able to break Burns' full Nelson and start his own rally here as Thesz backs him into the turnbuckle. No, he's gonna roll up. Oh, roll up, not roll on the same level. And Thesz with a takedown to head scissors. It's an agility move. They're tied on agility. So Thesz is going to succeed with that takedown to head scissors. Farmer Burns able to counter that. Burns with another big half Nelson and slam. Thesz is down. The champ's going to roll out of the ring again. He's rolling his count out here as he is hurt. He's knocked silly by that half Nelson and slam. Target is 3. Roll is a 4. So just barely able to get back into the ring and shake off the cobwebs before the referee counts to 10. And Thesz back in. But Farmer Burns on the attack here. And Burns applies a big hammerlock. Thesz is down. Not going to roll out of the ring this time. And Farmer Burns is going to throw him out of the ring, of course, because that's how that always rolls out, it seems like. And Thesz out of the ring. Farmer Burns is being reprimanded by the referee. Let's see if the referee disqualifies him. He does not. Burns was not a... He's not usually a kind of a unsportsmanlike fighter, but something about Thesz has got under his skin. And Burns just chucks him out of the ring. And now Burns on the attack as Thesz gets back in. And Burns with a body scissors hold on Thesz. Thesz able to deftly counter that. And Thesz applies that rolling short arm scissors on Farmer Burns. Burns is in trouble here. He's hurt as Thesz continues his attack. Rolling up, not going to push him back into the buckle. He's going to continue to apply pressure on that rolling short arm scissors. And Barton Burns apparently, I was going to call him. But Martin Burns is hurt again. Thesz lets go of the rolling short arm scissors, and both men try to stand up. As Burns gets up, Thesz drives a punch to the ribs, and that's going to connect solidly. Burns is doubled over there as Thesz comes in with a double leg pickup to slam, dazing Burns as Burns able to grab the ropes to keep from going down fully. And Thesz once again applying those short arm scissors. And Burns is hurt here. Thesz transitions from the rolling short arm scissors to a hammerlock. This is a choice C maneuver. 6 or lower, plus or minus the agility. That's not going to happen. Might happen with the level 2, though. So we're going to go for the power move here. And on a roll of 7, he is successful. So a level 2 hammerlock on Farmer Martin Burns. Burns is dazed by the hammerlock as Thesz transitions back into the rolling short arm scissors. And Burns is in trouble here. He's down. Farmer Burns going to leave the ring. And Thesz lets him go. And Burns takes a quick breather outside the ring, rolls back in. Thesz stomps him as he gets back in. Dazing Burns again. And as Burns stands up, Thesz connects with some drop kicks on Farmer Martin Burns. Burns is hurt as Thesz throws more drop kicks at him. Again, catching him solidly but not putting him down. And third time might be the charm with another series of drop kicks on Farmer Martin Burns. And once again connecting him, backing him into the ropes but can't put him down. Thesz grabs the arm, tries that hammerlock, 7 or better here. And with a roll of 9, Burns is able to spin out of the hammerlock, applying a hammerlock of his own and taking control of the match as he backs Thesz into the turnbuckle. And Thesz can't get anything done in the turnbuckle as Burns cinches up on that hammerlock again, or some more, and continues his attack with a hammerlock. As I've been saying, Burns really wrenching that hammerlock, putting a lot of pressure on Thesz as he brings him back to the center of the ring with the hammerlock applied. This is a pinning predicament or a submission predicament. And Thesz rolling his pin here. Target is going to be 4. Roll is a 10, so Thesz able to kick out or break the hold, depending on whether it was a pin or submission. I'll say it was a submission. So he's able to break the hold, and Burns continues his attack. Choice D here. 7 or less for a level 3 full Nelson. Can't get it. Thesz breaks the full Nelson and is on the attack on his own. Gonna back Burns into the buckle. And Farmer Burns takes one across the bridge of the nose as Thesz getting frustrated here as well. And Thesz double leg pickup to slam as Burns meanders out of the turnbuckle. And that dazes Farmer Burns. And Thesz takes him down and applies the head scissors. Farmer Burns able to pop his head out though, surprising Thesz. And as they get up, Burns able to back Thesz into the ropes. And the referee finally steps in, breaks these two up, and asks them to meet in the center of the ring. And Thesz is able to get the better of a lockup in the center of the ring, hoisting Burns up on his shoulders with an airplane spin. And Burns is hurt here. Double leg pickup to slam by Thesz. Martin Burns slammed to the mat. He is hurt as he gets back to his feet. Thesz comes in, grabs him with the double leg again, picks him up and slams him once again. But Burns able to grab the top rope this time, keeping himself from going down. Thesz goes down onto all fours, and Burns is in control, grabs that front chancery. This is a power maneuver, and he does not have the power, so Thesz able to break the hold with ease. Thesz takes control, shot to the ribs on Farmer Burns. Burns able to block that, and Burns grabs him by the head and flying mare. Thesz is down. He's going to roll out of the ring, and that flying mare knocked him loopy, adding one to his pin, and Farmer Burns in control here as Thesz rolls back into the ring, and Burns with a grinding toe hold. So we're going to add one to Thesz again, and Thesz is hurt, and Burns going to back him into the buckle. And Thesz able to turn it around and then drive a knee into the gut of Farmer Martin Burns. So Thesz picks him up with a double leg out of the turnbuckle, turns him around and slams him on the ground. Martin Burns is hurt here. Thesz not going to back him into the turnbuckle, going to roll up, going to take him down and apply the head scissors. And Farmer Burns once again pops his head out with ease, and Burns with a body lock and a cross trip lock. This is an agility maneuver. They're tied on agility, so it will work. And it dazes Thesz. Thesz was not expecting that. Oop, dazes Thesz. Not countered by Thesz. And Martin Burns able to transition. Doesn't really take him down with that cross trip lock, but transitions into a standing arm and wrist hold. As Thesz is in trouble now. Thesz is hurt as Burns applies pressure on that arm and wrist hold. Taking Thesz down with a grapevine and applying a double arm lock. Thesz is hurt here. And Burns goes back to that flying mare. And this is a pin. Target is 7. Roll is a 6. So we have a new NWC World's Heavyweight Champion in Farmer Burns, in a match that I kind of expected to be a floor mopping by Thesz. He just cannot get the job done, and Farmer Martin Burns becomes a 2-time NWC World's Heavyweight Champion. So Burns beats Thesz, and he did so with a flying mare. That is not a move that you would see end matches these days. But back in the day, let's see, Thesz had 6 fatigue, so that was a 3-star match. I'm going to give it a half a star because it was a title match. And we will add that info in there. Thesz had 6. Burns had 0. Let's add the title change. Martin Burns won the... let's not do it. Won the NWC World Heavyweight. There we go. Oh, and let's make this not bold now. Fatigue info is not bolded. And there we go. So Farmer Burns, now with his second, let's go check it out here. Farmer Burns. This one. Yeah, Martin Burns with his second title reign here. His last one went for 244 days. He only had one successful defense against Tom Jenkins before losing to Thesz exactly 1 year ago. Thesz's reign went for 365 days. He had two defenses, one against Great Gamma and one against Rudy Dusek. And then he lost it back to Farmer Martin Burns. And we'll see how long Burns can hold his title. You can bold. Yeah, it accepts all sorts of what's the term? Rich text formatting codes. So they're basically like HTML codes. You can do like they're all with the like the greater than less than brackets, and then there's like B and I for bold and italic. You could do U for underline. You could do size. There's a whole bunch of them. I think that the guide that Hexstar put together, which you can get to if you are unaware of this. This won't actually show up on your screen because I'm only showing this, but if you click this button here, it'll bring down the menu, and then this button here will load the PDF guide if you have an internet connection. So if you just click that, it'll bring up, let's see, I can... It'll bring up this right here, which is 138 pages on how to use the application. So this thing has like a full ass manual. Thanks to Hexstar, Billy Roberts. He's really done a great job documenting everything and getting in touch with me to make sure that everything is accurate, and including pictures and making sure everything's up to date. So yeah, if you're testing or using the application at all, be aware that you can access this document just by clicking that button that I showed you there, which is that one right. No, this one right here. So yeah, good to know if you have access to this. But yeah, so that is what we've got going on. Let's check our rankings real quick. Farmer Burns 14-9, now our champion, just barely ahead of Thesz at 12-5. This is definitely going to put a damper on Ed Lewis's biggest wrestling card in history. If you were here at the beginning, I announced a piece of news that is here in our program archive, that Ed Lewis had announced a major show for December, and that Thesz would be on the show, and if he won against Farmer Burns tonight, he would be defending his title on the Bluegrass Wrestling show, but he did not win, and Farmer Burns is not confirmed to be on that show. So Farmer Burns, he may not be defending, there may not be an NWC World's Heavyweight title defense on that Bluegrass Wrestling show, which may mean that it is not the biggest show in the history of the world, or whatever, however Ed Lewis announced it. So anywho, so that does it for me today. I will be back probably next week with a oh, well, let's do this. I announced some cards on Facebook, and most people here are in the Facebook group, but just in case you are not, let's just look up Lord, and some of these are obviously not important, but the ones that are important are going to be here. So we've got the Lord Athol Leighton card. This is going to be the card that comes with the physical set. This is his tag team attire which has like the kind of off purple Whitehall Lords attire. And then we've got a Lord James Blears card that has the same purple attire with the mustache that he had early in his career. And both of these cards have the Leslie Holmes distractor rating on them, so because Holmes managed the team essentially, so these both have Leslie Holmes. And then we've got Lord James Blears. This is what the special edition singles card looks like. He's wearing his black trunks instead of, or black tights instead of the purple trunks. He's got the monocle, no mustache because he got rid of the mustache when he was doing his solo stuff. He still has Leslie Holmes because Holmes managed Blears even back into his, even doing the solo stuff. And then we have the solo Lord Athel Leighton card. Just regular black trunks, same pose. It's just like a color swap sort of situation. But the stats are different. This is more of a singles card for Leighton. But yeah, he's just got his regular black trunks. He's got no Leslie Holmes on that one. No mechanic at all, actually, on that one. But yeah, so those are the cards. Oh, and Don Fargo was the other one that had a special card that I may not have shown off. I think I showed off his regular card, which the color of the trunks matches Jackie Fargo, in case you want to use them in as the Fabulous Fargos. But he's also got a solo card here, kind of representing his solo run in the Gulf Coast, and I guess mostly it was in Gulf Coast that he did his best solo work. A little bit in Ohio. But yeah, this card is a little stronger in the solo game here. Doesn't have as many tag mechanics or anything. But the two or three limited edition cards, I guess special edition, they're not really LE limited, but they will be provided to everybody who orders via PDF. So even if you order a physical set, you'll get those ones in PDF form. I'm not going to print them and send them to you. But there will be a print option for the 8 cards in the main set. So, yeah. So yeah, now that we've shown that off, I am done. I don't have much else to show off or say, really. There's no real news on what's going on with the application. I'm still talking with the guys at Felsinger. Things are a little slow, so I don't really have any news on that front. Hopefully soon. I'm going to try hitting up Mike and Todd again this coming week just to see if anything has changed on their end, but we're basically just kind of waiting on them to figure out what exactly they want to do with it and have their sort of company talks about what they want to do, and then they'll hit me up again. So that, as far as I know, that's all that's going on with that. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to everybody soon though. So anywho, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you